What if I asked you, what did you do today? Would you answer with every single detail, like, I woke up, then I got out of bed, then I exited my room? That's obviously not what I meant when I asked, what did you do today? And giving me all of those details is boring. See, what I really wanted was a summary of the big things that you did. A summary is like the highlights. Nobody wants the boring details of a story. They just want the main idea, or the most important things. Let me give a silly example. Once upon a time, there was a chicken named Henrietta who lived on a farm and had many strange hobbies that are unusual to a chicken, but most notably her love of video games like Fortnite, where she was particularly good at Battle Royale because she has this healthy paranoia of somebody always over her shoulder, so she was alert at all times and could build like crazy in a Final Showdown crisis to dominate. But the only problem was that Henrietta's head house had no power to connect to the internet, so she could not play her favorite game, but being a resourceful old bird like she was, she just flapped over to a nearby power line and fastened some wires down to the coop so she could have electricity, so she could have internet, so she could play Fortnite and crush it. Now, what's the main idea of my story? It's that the chicken got electricity to play Fortnite. All that other stuff that I said is part of the story, but it's not the most important thing to put in a summary. So that takes us to Ivf sentences. Ivf stands for identify your source, use a verb, and finish the thought. Identify the source means what was the book or article or website that you used. Usually, you can identify the source just by using the author's name. The second part, verb, is about what the author is doing. Now, authors can do all sorts of things, but most of the time they're explaining or describing something. So while you're just learning how to do this, make it easy on yourself by choosing explains or describes as your verb. Lastly, finish the thought. What are they explaining? Or what are they describing? Let's do an example. This comes from an article called 25 YouTube Statistics That May Surprise You by Christina Newberry. Hey, look, that's the author. Okay, let's read it. YouTube has more than 2 billion logged in monthly users. According to Pew Research, YouTube is the most popular online platform in America. People watch more than 1 billion hours of video on YouTube every day. These videos include children's shows, gaming, fitness videos, business content, and live streams. So let's start with identify the source. That's the author's name, and we already found that. Easy. Christina Newberry. That's it. That's all you have to write for this part. Next, choose a verb. Remember, I said to pick between explains or describes. I'm going to choose describes. Now comes the hard part. Describes what? Well, I see a lot of stuff here. She said 2 billion users. She said all these types of videos that people can watch. But remember, we don't want every single detail in our summary sentence. We only want the main idea. So what's the main idea? Well, the obvious answer is that Christina Newberry describes YouTube. But that doesn't quite give the main idea. Like, what about YouTube? Does she like it? Does she hate it? We could say that she's describing how popular it is, or she's describing the many things people use YouTube for. The best part about this is that there's more than one right answer. As long as your sentence says a main idea and not too many extra details, you did it right. Now it's your turn. I'm going to show you another paragraph, and I want you to pause the video and see if you can write an Ivf sentence about it. Seriously, pause the video. When you're done, we'll check your work. Okay, are you ready? Remember, we need to identify the source, use a verb, and finish the thought. So you could say something like Kevin Webb, that's the author, describes, that's the verb, how Fortnite became popular due to its flexibility. Or Kevin Webb explains how customization makes Fortnite so popular. If you wrote something close to that, congratulations, you did this correctly. So now you understand Ivf sentences. Remember, identify the author's name, verb, You can say explains or describes, and then finish the thought. What are they explaining or what are they describing? Do you want a customized video just like this? Let's talk. Learn more at jimmyleonard.com.